Hey guys, and welcome back to Dojo Onchained, where we go through our investing journey using our two on-chain portfolios, the CKI Innovation and Blue Chip Index, in hope that we make a good return on our investment over time, because these are largely altcoin portfolios, but also hopefully outperforming Bitcoin, because in the previous episodes, of course, you know this by now, if you're not outperforming Bitcoin, just hold Bitcoin really, because your risk-adjusted returns are better there in that case. So let's dive into the update this week. Let's see what's happening. Let's see if we've outperformed. Let's check out the wider market. And hopefully it's good news. So first, looking at the CKI Blue Chip Index, there's no changes to the portfolio assets here. We went through the reasons behind these assets in a previous episode, so I won't go through them again. But currently we're still sitting on Sushi, Compound, Alpha, and Yearn. The token price right now of CKB is $162.78, which means that the return on investment so far since inception, which was on the 26th of June, is around 62%, which is pretty good for about a month, just under a month and a half or so. And obviously we're hoping the market to continue being a bit bullish here, so we can retain those gains and get more. So not much to say on the composition for CKB, but if we look at the performance in a bit more detail, you can see a little bit more clearly here if I go to the, I'm gonna have to go to the yearly chart here, but you know, this started at $100. I can't quite get granular enough because the other time frame is just a month. Our all-time high was about $170. We're sitting at $163 right now, so just under it. You can see how volatile this is actually, because, you know, from the top, which was about $170, we came all the way back down to $120, and then all the way back up to 163. So, you know, even though this is the blue chip index and these are quite, you know, in terms of altcoins, pretty well established, great backing, larger market cap projects, the volatility is still pretty insane, right? So the benefits of investing in altcoins going up also works against you when going down as well, right? Because there's less liquidity and you get these massive swings. Anyway, still pretty happy with that, 63% since inception. We're doing pretty good. So moving on to the innovation index, it's been absolutely killing it. So we rode one of the current trends at the moment, which is NFTs. NFTs have been going crazy. Specifically, CryptoPunks have been doing unbelievably. I think there was a Twitter post of one selling for like 1,000 Ethereum, which is $2.6 million. Now, for me, that's insane. $2.6 million for effectively a JPEG online. I know that's the meme, that it's just a JPEG that people are paying $2.6 million for. I know there's obviously the whole properties of an NFT and the scarcity and whatnot that make it valuable. And you know, I was a collector myself in terms of, like, I've collected trading cards in the past. I was big on Pokemon, I was big on Yu-Gi-Oh, I think. Also online TCGs. I love collectibles, so I get it, and I fully back the NFT space, but my God, like 2.6 million for a CryptoPunk, it just seems insane. But anyway, it's happening, and to be honest, only larger profile people in the world are getting involved and more interested in NFTs, so I don't see it going away. It's massively bullish, but I still think it will fluctuate, and that's why in the CryptoCry Innovation Index we actually had a big allocation into the MVI, which is the Metaverse Index. And the Metaverse Index is another set on token sets. It's another portfolio which has, you know, all of these NFT based tokens within it. And I honestly don't know about 80% of these tokens within it, but it is a great way to get exposure to the NFT ecosystem as a whole. And so there's a couple I recognize, NFTX, which has done brilliantly lately, Decentraland, Engine Coin. Yeah, fantastic index. We had a good chunk of that in the CKI. We had a good 30%, I think, or 35% of the entire portfolio within it. We rode that for about a 40% gain or so, and then I sold everything. And not that I don't think NFTs are going to go higher, or NFT-based tokens are going to go higher. I just think that they had a massive surge recently. Some charts specifically that the MVI are pretty heavy on, such as Axie Infinity, have gone like vertical. I'll try to find it on TradingView. Is it on Binance? Is this there? Maybe. I think that's Axie Infinity. Gonna assume it is. I can double check on CoinGecko actually. Oh yeah, okay, the ticker is AX. Yeah, okay, that is it. Cool. So we've had a massive surge here. I mean, in the past few weeks, we're talking a good 10x, roughly, you know, give or take. And so with that going on, then CryptoPunks sort of hitting these huge bids, like 2.6 million, insane. I think there's got to be a local top somewhere. I think there will be, you know, a short-term cap. There's a lot of people FOMOing right now. That's quite clear all over Twitter. I think there will be people taking advantage of that, selling into that liquidity. No doubt. I mean, that's what I'd do. So I've sold all my MVI for now. I'm going to definitely get exposure later down the line again. Maybe I'm wrong that it's going to slow down, but we made profit from it, and I rotated it back into Index and Rook, which are some really nice plays which I have in the CKI, or I think will hopefully play out really well. And then I added the Bankless DAO, and I've added them in with a very small allocation, and it was smaller than this, but I think because the value's gone up, it's now 12% of the index. So I think we've already made some good gains on that. But effectively, it's a really unique project. It's kind of a one of a kind. They're a media, Bankless were a media outlet, and then they created a DAO with this sort of common goal to make 1 billion people around the world bankless, and using Ethereum and whatnot. That's their mission statement, and there's such a vibrant community in their Discord with so many talented people from all different fields chiming in to sort of create this very unique culture, which isn't just focused around DeFi or NFTs or anything in particular. It's kind of everything, right? This is kind of like it's just a massive global decentralized organization to try build a bankless community. And I think that's very cool. And more importantly, I think that's very innovative. So if that doesn't deserve to go in the index, I don't know what does. So that's in here now alongside Rook and Index. Let's check out the performance of CKI. And we are currently on $199.65. I mean, this literally was over $200 earlier today. So effectively, the CryptoCurrency Innovation Index has been doing fantastically. We are now effectively 2 times on our return on an investment from inception, 26th of June, started at $100. So again, mega volatile from $100 up to around, I think it went to 170 or so again, went all the way back down to 120, and then now we're at all-time highs. So, these swings are enormous. And that's why you don't really, if you're investing in altcoins, if you have a long-term bullish thesis on a group of tokens or a particular token, in this case, I have a long-term bullish outlook on anything I'm investing in the CKI and CKB, it's best just not to check every single day at the market noise. If the portfolio is suddenly down 10% or up 10%, if you see it, fine, but don't put any weight behind it. Your thesis and conviction behind your picks is over the long term, the mid-long term. And we're hoping that over time, it appreciates in value. So if I had been a very emotional investor, I would have seen this go up to $170. I would have been pretty happy, obviously. And as soon as I started seeing it going down, especially down to 120 or something like that, I may have panicked. I may have been like, oh, wow, no, bear market continued. Let's sell everything. And that would have been the very worst thing to do, right? Because then it went to all-time highs like a week later. So really important not to be an emotional investor. Does that mean don't have a plan? Absolutely not. You need a plan. But your plan should be based on things you can action, not just emotions, right? So I think in my previous episodes, I had said, based on certain Bitcoin conditions on the chart, whether I'd maybe risk off a bit, but those conditions that would have triggered me to risk off and go a bit more into stables or something like that, didn't occur. And so I had a plan to risk off. The levels weren't met, so I stayed in crypto, and it was the right decision because we went to new highs on my picks at least. And even in the bullish case, do I have a plan to ever sell? And the answer is yes. I always have a plan no matter what you do. If you're putting money into something, have a plan. Have a plan of what you're trying to achieve, the goals you're trying to do. If we take the blue chip index, for example, we have Alpha. And now Alpha is much lower market cap than the likes of Sushi or Compound Finance. And but I think it is up there. It's always talked about, it's always known as like a premium protocol in terms of its back-end development and sort of Twitter presence. And I can tell you, like, the market cap of Alpha is 293 million with a fully diluted valuation of 835 million. Now, if I compare that to the likes of Compound or something, Compound has a 2.4 billion market cap with a fully diluted valuation of about 4.5 billion too. So my plan with Alpha Finance is essentially, do I think Alpha Finance is $1 billion plus valuation project? And I think, yes, it is. 100%. I think it's easily up there with some of these protocols. So my long-term thesis of Alpha Finance is at least 1 billion market cap, which would put that at roughly, I don't know, a 3-4 times just to 1 billion mark. And then I would reassess, I'd probably risk off a bit at that level, maybe take 30% off, 40% off, because I've made some gains, I've hit my initial target, take some of that away to reinvest into something else. But that's my plan. And I would tell anyone the same if they're investing in crypto on it, just have even a rough plan. Even if you think Ethereum is going to disrupt all the fintechs and investment banking around the world, because of its sort of cross-border permissionless protocols, and it's going to be the sort of the back end to all these startups and fintechs where they can take investor money or customer money and invest it into these DeFi protocols to offer really competitive rates and beat out the investment banks, whatever. Or if you think Bitcoin will be adopted by more smaller countries as their national currency, as we saw in El Salvador, all of this is incredibly bullish. but always relate it back to your investment and what it can do for yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, for the vast majority of people, it's an investment and you want to better your life in some way. And to do that, you need a plan or a goal, because if you don't, you'll just literally never sell. And if you never sell, you'll never realize the gains. Or if you never have a plan, and that doesn't mean sell everything all the time, but you need to have some plan where you're like, okay, I take some off the table to better my life in this way. Or maybe that means not having to work so much, or maybe that means paying off your house, or maybe partly paying off something, loans, debts, anything to improve yourself, which still might not completely take you out the crypto game completely. You don't have to sell everything. But yeah, I can't hammer that point enough about having a plan. Anyway, moving on. So those are the sets. Let's have a quick look at Bitcoin. Now, the last video we had was literally around here. And we were saying if we kind of broke our lower levels here, we'd be very sad. We'd look for a retest and potentially risk off. That was the plan. We did start a sort of squeezing down and it wasn't good. And to be honest, that was a bit of a bear trap. You can see this consistent support and wicks up to this level where there has been big bids. We started grinding down, closing below this core range, and then we dipped quite sharp. This was a bear trap. This is where shorts were piling on. And then someone just thought no and did some enormous bids, which then kind of reversed the market kind of immediately. And we had this jumbo short squeeze. So you can't really see it on this so much. I mean, this is Coinbase, right? And we had a ridiculous amount of green days. We basically just went from 29,000 up to around 42, 43,000, which is about 45%. Pretty great. I mean, I think people were saying there's not been that many green candles in a row since like 2017 or even earlier. But you can really see what was happening on the Binance perpetual contracts. You can see the squeeze that happened. So if you don't know a short squeeze, so if you don't know shorting in general is where you have to short an asset and make a directional bet that the asset is going to go down in value. You need to borrow the asset to then sell it. If you want to create like a leverage short position. So if I want to short Bitcoin with like some leverage, I have to borrow Bitcoin from whoever's going to lend it to me. And this is all handled by the exchange behind the scenes. Borrow Bitcoin, sell it, and hopefully the value drops so I can buy Bitcoin back, cover the debt and net some profit. A short squeeze is when you have a ton of shorts on the asset. And effectively what happens is that if you have like an unexpected reversal, or unexpected to the shorters at least, and it happens quite rapidly. Big moves come in, then a grind higher, another big move up, grind higher, big move up. There's no good opportunity that the market's given for shorts to close their shorts so they can buy back the Bitcoin and repay their debt. That's not happening here at all. There's no greater dip. It's just squeezing up constantly from the buy pressure, which is just forcing panic closing of shorts, right? Where you have shorts just closing their position or getting liquidated or stopped out, which is forcing the price higher. Because when a short closes, they have to buy back the Bitcoin to then pay back the lenders that lent them that Bitcoin in the first place. And what this does is drive the price higher. And then you have more shorters. If there's a lot of shorters in the market, they might panic and they might do the same. And eventually you have these huge squeezes, which are just shorters giving up, essentially throwing in the towel, or a huge liquidation on the books. And I think we had this here. You know, this is and it was done literally in like a 5-minute candle or something like that. Pretty much a 40% move from, I mean, that's 10K. That's literally over 10K squeeze. And I think this candle in particular, this particular one, if I go back here, was a 10K candle. I assume some enormous short being liquidated and having to rebuy the Bitcoin to cover their position, and that caused this ginormous move. So just goes to show there was a lot of bearish sentiment around here, especially towards the latter stages when we were grinding down. But because we had this kind of violent reversal, it sent us into a bit of a short-term trend reversal. We just got to see how it plays out from now. So back to this chart. It looks like we're sitting around our range high, maybe breaking down here. You know, this is what I call our core range, and this is actually just done by weekly closes. But you could easily extend this to like our range highs here. And you can see that's where we kind of nuked there. And then here we've kind of broken above it. We had this fake out above the range high, and then we've broken back down. back into our sort of core range down here. And the same applies down here. You could have this range low here. So not gonna lie, don't know where the market is gonna go right now. All I know is that we were pretty bullish in the last video. You know, we were grinding down and a lot of people were bearish, but you know, the momentum was sort of bubbling. I remember saying that. And I did say that this was begging for like a cross, this momentum to cross, and it actually did. I'm not chasing clout here, but that was pretty much nailed. We had this momentum just shift up, and that was indicative of this this squeeze, this short squeeze, back to the range highs. So we're just in the range again. You know, we're just in the range from here. That was the short-term prediction that we would squeeze higher. I think the complete prediction we wanted was, you know, if we made it to this high, that would be the hammer zone. That would be where the shorters would pile in again, and that's a very typical level for shorters to get involved. We didn't make it that high. We've just sat in. We're just still in this range. Still in this range here. We've got to just await further instruction really. While we're in this range, altcoins have been playing. You know, I've said this. As soon as Bitcoin starts to reverse and sets a higher high, but in a consolidation pattern, you're going to see altcoins run, and that's exactly what we had. You know, altcoins were looking weak down here, but we saw strength in the market. We even put in a higher high on Bitcoin, and on Ethereum, we put on a definite higher high. In combination with the NFT mania with CryptoPunks and whatnot, you know, altcoins ran. We had Aave running up here, Compound running, and this actually lines we put in the last video, and it happened pretty much spot on that we grinded against this top resistance and broke out. Index has been pretty flat still, but just kind of following market. What else have we got? Sushi again, kind of running flat. It's just kind of following the market, maybe underperforming a bit here. Unis looks a little bit stronger. Wi-Fi again, same story. They all look really similar. Alpha's been a strong mover, which is one we hold in the blue chip index. But they all follow this pattern. I think I drew in the last video this downtrend pattern. That was actually done terribly. I'm actually going to use the straight line tool and just do some rough lines here. You know, we said that we had this clear pattern of cost DeFi. Would we have a test of the lows, which would be pretty damn bearish to be honest, but a great entry to buy? Or would we have this bullish continuation pattern form? And we did, so happy days. Same with Compound. You know, this all looks the same, bang, bang, bang. Would we go down low? No, we didn't. We were grinding up against this top resistance and broke out. Happy days. And that's that. So alts are bullish, great for the portfolios as we're 100% altcoin exposed. Bitcoin is looking like it's still in a range. We'll just have to wait to see if it breaks down or breaks up again. Right now, we're still in this range. Not much else to say there, but we have set a higher high. If we set a higher low here, it's just going to be great for our portfolios again, because bullish structure in a consolidation pattern, big thumbs up for the portfolios. ETH BTC, which is the ratio between Ethereum and Bitcoin, is bullish as well. This is kind of indicative of altcoin strength as well, because Ethereum is like the second largest market cap project in the crypto sphere, also where 90% of like DeFi is built upon, where all the money is. So we had this massive run prior, and we've kind of formed this bullish sort of bull flag, and we've broken out. So that's pretty damn good news. You know, if Ethereum runs here, maybe we're retesting up, who knows, maybe something like that. That is pretty great news. That means Ethereum is actually appreciating in value against Bitcoin, and that again is a strong indicator for a strong altcoin market, which is our whole portfolio and investment thesis. So let's see how that plays out as well. So that's it for today. That was a longer video than I anticipated. Just a couple of things to cover off. I wrote an article that I've been getting a bunch of questions about how you can get involved in the portfolios. How can I, as a beginner or someone fairly new to crypto, or maybe experiencing crypto, but I just don't know how can I invest some money into the CryptoKai portfolios in a trustless, decentralized manner? And the answer is right here now. So I will share this article in the YouTube description, and it goes through creating a Coinbase account, creating a MetaMask account, securing that, sending the Ethereum to your MetaMask account, and then interacting with token sets to buy into one or both the portfolios, whatever you want to do. Hopefully that helps someone, and I would love to have more people join the investing journey, have some skin in the game when they're watching the YouTube videos. It's just a bit of a fun adventure, and hopefully we come off the other side better off. So that's the guide. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, where I post memes and updates on the portfolio specifically. Just a bit more free typing without such prep on the videos and whatnot and articles. So the handle's Andrew CryptoKai, pretty easy. Come join me there. And finally, don't forget to join the Discord to chat with everyone else. and like the video, subscribe to the channel. That would help me millions. So thanks again for joining, everyone. Hopefully that was insightful. Let's keep up to date with the portfolios. Things are going well, and I'll catch you next time.